All right, Steelers Nation, buckle up because there's a storm brewing in Pittsburgh, and the eye of the hurricane is none other than Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you heard that right. The four-time NFL MVP continues to hover like a dark cloud over the Steel City, and while nothing's official just yet, there's a whole lot of smoke. And where there's smoke, you know there's fire. Steelers owner Art Rooney II came out recently and echoed something he said over a month ago. He's still willing to wait a little while longer for Rodgers. Same phrase, same vibe, but this time we're already deep into May, and patience is starting to wear thin. Now let's break this down. Back in April, during the NFL owners' meetings in Palm Beach, Rooney first dropped that now infamous line about waiting. Not forever, but a little while longer. Fast forward to today, and it's like deja vu. Once again, Rooney is telling the world he's not giving up hope. And why would he? We're talking about one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time here. The kind of guy who doesn't just join a team, he transforms it. But as every Steelers fan knows, Pittsburgh isn't exactly known for playing the waiting game, and this prolonged uncertainty is starting to raise eyebrows. According to multiple reports, including one from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the vibe inside. The organization is still cautiously optimistic. Rodgers apparently still wants to come to Pittsburgh, and the team is still holding out hope that he will. But here's where it gets interesting. There's no official deadline for Rodgers to sign. That's right. According to both Jeremy Fowler and Brooke Pryor of ESPN, the Steelers have not put any hard dates on the calendar. There's no sign by June 1st or we're moving on type of ultimatum. That in itself says a lot about how much they value Rodgers and how much they're willing to bend to make this happen. Still, there's only so much waiting a franchise can do. Another report, this time from Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, suggests that the Steelers might be okay waiting until early July. That gives Rodgers a pretty generous window. But let's be real, if this drags on past mid-June, people are going to start getting nervous. The team's mandatory minicamp wraps up on June 12th, and if Rodgers isn't in the building by then, you really have to start questioning whether this is ever going to happen. Because after that, it's a dead zone in the NFL calendar. No organized team activities, no practices, just a long stretch of silence until training camp kicks off in late July. So let's say Rodgers is using this downtime to dodge OTAs. That wouldn't be surprising. The man has never been a fan of off-season programs, especially in recent years. But if he's serious about joining the Steelers, and if he wants to get on the same page with a new coaching staff and a new set of receivers, showing up before the middle of June would make a lot of sense. The longer he waits, the more he misses. And for a quarterback coming into a completely new system, those reps are invaluable. And here's the kicker. The Steelers' entire offseason strategy might be hinging on Rodgers. According to Ray Fittipaldo, the team is unlikely to make any major moves at the wide receiver position until Rodgers makes his decision. That's huge. It means they're not just waiting on a quarterback. They're delaying other roster decisions because of him. There's talk that if Rodgers signs, they'll target another big-name receiver to pair with him. Names like Keenan Allen and Gabe Davis have been floated, both of whom could immediately elevate the passing game. But none of that happens until Rodgers puts pen to paper. That's not just pressure on the Steelers. That's pressure on Rodgers too. If he wants weapons, if he wants to be surrounded by talent, he's got to give this team a clear signal. The sooner he commits, the better shot the Steelers have at landing a top-tier receiver. It's a domino effect. And right now, Rodgers is the piece holding everything up. So where do things stand right now? We're days away from OTA starting, and all eyes are on Rodgers. Rumors are flying that an announcement could come any day. Now, maybe even before the team hits the field for its first off-season practice. Some insiders are pointing to Pat McAfee's show as a potential platform for the big reveal. And if you followed Rodgers over the years, you know that's not a wild guess. McAfee has been one of his go-to outlets, and it would make perfect sense for him to break the news there. But let's not kid ourselves. This whole saga has been dragging on for what feels like forever. It's starting to test the patience of even the most die-hard Steelers fans. And while optimism is great, it's hard to stay enthusiastic when your entire offseason plan is being held hostage by one man's indecision. If we get to June 15th and there's still no news, it's time to start worrying. If we hit July and Rodgers is still MIA, then yeah, it's panic time. But let's say he does sign. Let's imagine Rodgers walks into the Steelers facility. Next week, ready to go. The entire tone of the offseason shifts instantly. You've got a future Hall of Famer under center, a re-energized fan base, and suddenly Pittsburgh becomes a legitimate contender in the AFC. And that's what this whole thing is about, right? Winning now, making the leap. Rodgers brings that aura, that credibility, that edge. He's not a long-term solution, but he doesn't need to be. He just needs to give this team a window, a shot at glory while the pieces are in place. And make no mistake, the Steelers believe the pieces are in place. The defense is stacked. The offensive line is improving. The young skill players are ready to break out. All they need is the quarterback. All they need is Rodgers. So yeah, it's frustrating. Yeah, it's slow. But if this ends the way the Steelers hope it does, it'll all be worth it. The delay, the speculation, the rumors, none of it will matter if Rodgers takes that first snap in a black and gold jersey this fall. But until that moment comes, we wait. Just like Art Rooney said, a little while longer. Now, while all the attention is focused on Rodgers, there's another situation unfolding that's got Steelers fans buzzing, the wide receiver room. And yeah, Terry McLaurin's name has been floating around, especially after he missed a recent offseason workout with the Commanders. That one absence was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. Whispers of trade speculation, talk of locker, room drama, the whole 9 yards. But let's pump the brakes. McLaurin's still under contract, still considered the best receiver on that Commanders roster, and frankly, Washington isn't exactly in a position to start shipping out top-tier talent when they're trying to stabilize their franchise. All signs point to McLaurin staying put and eventually getting an extension. Still, the Steelers are keeping their options open. If Rodgers is really coming to town, Pittsburgh knows it needs to upgrade at wideout. They've got young talent, sure, but no true WR1 who can consistently win on the outside against top corners. That's where names like Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper come into play. Both are seasoned veterans, both excellent route runners, and both could thrive in a system led by a quarterback like Rodgers. Keenan Allen in particular has that quick twitch and short area burst that makes him lethal on third downs, exactly the kind of reliable target Rodgers loves. And then there's Gabe Davis, a deep threat with playoff experience who could stretch the field and open things up underneath for guys like Pat Freiermuth and Najee Harris. But it's not just about the big names. Pittsburgh could also look to make a more subtle move, maybe trade for someone like Romeo Doubs or Dontavian Wicks, both Green Bay receivers who already have chemistry with Rodgers. That kind of move wouldn't break the bank and could offer a seamless transition in the passing game. Or maybe they go after someone like John Mechie III out of Houston, a young, underutilized talent who might be available for a late-round pick. He's only 25, still developing, and could thrive in a more structured offense with a veteran quarterback leading the way. The bottom line is, the Steelers' next wide receiver move is directly tied to what happens with Rodgers. If he signs, expect action. If he doesn't, expect them to stand pat or look at more developmental guys. It's all part of this massive offseason puzzle that hinges on one guy's decision. And while we're talking about hidden gems, let's not overlook what Bleacher Report recently said about Pittsburgh's best-kept secret heading into the new season. Center Zack Frazier, the second-year lineman out of West Virginia, is quietly becoming one of the most solid interior blockers in the league. Last year, he earned a Pro Football Focus grade of 76.8. That's sixth best among all NFL centers. He allowed only 12 total pressures all season, which, for a rookie, is almost unheard of. The guy is a rock in the middle of that offensive line, and with another year of development, he might be pushing top 5 status very soon. That's a huge deal for this Steelers offense. When your center is locked in, making the right calls, anchoring against top-tier defensive tackles, keeping your quarterback upright, it creates stability across the board. It lets your guards play more freely. It gives your quarterback time. It helps your run game stay on schedule. And for a team potentially breaking in a new quarterback, especially one like Rodgers, who demands high-level execution from his offensive line, Frazier's growth could be a game changer. Now, let's talk about one of the more controversial rankings to come out recently. Pro Football Focus and analyst Trevor Sycamore released their list of the top 32 wide receivers in the NFL, and DK Metcalf came in at number 24. That's right, 24. For a guy who, despite a down year in 2024, has still been one of the most consistent and physically dominant receivers in football since he entered the league. He's never graded below 73 in a season. He's got 89 contested catches under his belt. And now he's the Steelers' #1 guy. To say that ranking raised some my eyebrows would be putting it lightly. Sycamore argued that. Metcalf didn't have his best season last year, and that's fair. But placing him behind guys like Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, and DeAndre Hopkins, who are either aging, declining, or both, feels outdated. Not to mention Marvin Harrison Jr., who hasn't even played a snap in the NFL yet, is somehow ahead of Metcalf on the list. That kind of ranking would have made sense back in 2019 or 2020, but in 2025, not so much. Metcalf is still a physical freak. At 6'4", 220 pounds with sub-4.4 speed, he's a nightmare for defenses. He might not have the most expansive route tree, but the routes he does run, deep in slants go routes, he runs with elite precision and power. And once he gets going, good luck trying to tackle him in the open field. The man is a locomotive. He brings an edge, a swagger, and most importantly, a physicality that fits perfectly with what Pittsburgh is trying to build on offense. He's the ideal X-receiver in this system. And with a quarterback like Rodgers delivering him the ball, there's no doubt he'll remind everyone why he belongs in the top 15, if not top 10, that conversation. So here we are, Steiner and the Steelers are on the cusp of what could be a transformative offseason. They've got a franchise waiting with open arms for a quarterback who can take them to the next level. They've got young pieces in place, veterans ready to contribute, and just enough cap space to make a splash if needed. The only missing piece is clarity. Clarity from Rodgers. Clarity on what this offense is going to look like when the season starts. And as every day passes, the anticipation builds. But that's what makes this moment so electric. Steelers fans can feel it. Something big is coming. Maybe it's Rodgers. Maybe it's a major receiver signing. Maybe it's both. All we know is the energy is different. The expectations are rising. And Pittsburgh might just be one move away from being right back in the thick of the AFC race. And hey, if you got an opinion on all of this, Rodgers, Metcalf, Frazier, whatever, now's the time to let it fly. Because one way or another, this offseason is going to define what the next few years look like for this team. And if it breaks the right way, Steelers Nation might be in for one unforgettable ride. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Pittsburgh might be on the verge of making one of the most unexpected moves of the offseason. Rumors are swirling after Alan Lazard, the veteran wide receiver, was reportedly seen entering the Pittsburgh Steelers facility earlier this week. Multiple sources close to the situation suggest that Lazard is finalizing a 4-year deal with the team, though no official announcement has been made. While nothing has been confirmed by either Lazard's camp or the Steelers front office, the buzz around the league is growing. Insiders claim that Pittsburgh is looking to add depth and versatility to its receiving core, and Lazard, known for his size, blocking ability, and red zone presence, fits the bill perfectly. After an up-and-down stint with the New York Jets where he struggled to fully integrate into the offensive system, Lazard may be seeking a fresh start in a more stable and dynamic offense. The potential signing would also provide quarterback Kenny Pickett with another reliable target, complementing the likes of George Pickens and Pat Freiermuth. Lazard's experience and leadership could prove invaluable for the young Steelers offense, which has shown flashes of brilliance but is still searching for consistency. On social media, fans and analysts are already speculating about Lazard's possible role within offensive coordinator Arthur Smith's new scheme. Could Lazard be the missing piece that elevates the Steelers' passing game? Or is this just another off-season smokescreen designed to stir up excitement and keep rivals guessing? For now, everything remains in the realm of speculation. But one thing is certain, the sighting of Alan Lazard at the Steelers headquarters has ignited a wave of curiosity and anticipation throughout the NFL community. As the situation develops, all eyes will be on Pittsburgh to see if this wild card move turns from rumor to reality. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.